Alright guys, so today I want to talk about actually something I just picked up. It's the Vape Father. And first big thing is, look at that airflow. There we go. Yeah, and that's on both sides, and it's got that top. And those are wide open at all times. But the only reason I feel the need to go ahead and put this out there, kind of clarify it, because I've operated on the assumption, and a lot of people have, and this is something I kind of don't like about it, but essentially what you need to do is you need to actually build for this mod. I have other devices here, and what they can do is actually, they're massive things. You can just sit there, build on it for days. You can literally put giant coils, like I'm talking 16 gauge, 18 gauge, the kind of stuff that is actually impossible to work with almost without some kind of jig. So, but with this thing, I've tried 22, and that's already kind of rough. You actually have to be very, very careful with this thing. Generally about 0.3 with your 24 gauge, figure out where that sits. That's your sweet spot. Now, that being said, this is still a really great unit once you get it there. Have a look at that. That's just amazing. Now, the thing is, like I said, I started using in the neighborhood of 6 wraps, dual coil, 24 gauge, and it works wonderfully. To go back to what I said, I tried the 22 actually, and it was there, but the mod would heat up excessively, which you'll still do it with this, but it's more of a, for average vaping, it's fine. Whereas with 22, literally after about a minute of hitting it off and on, it would literally give me physical burns. That just is not acceptable. When vaping hurts, you stop. Now, that being said, like I said, this is mass airflow, all this, but it's also a somewhat advanced device. The holes in this thing, it's meant for, your 20, 24, 26. I'm sure you can do, well, you can do 28, but I don't know how good that would be. And it is shown in these holes. These things are dipped way down. Jeez, camera. These things are tucked in there, and you have to build up. So, you need something small. Now, to get to that, why you need to build up, because the deck is so low in this device, if you don't, your coil will be sitting in that juice. You're gonna get freaking liquid going everywhere. It's gonna burn the inside of your mouth. It's just not a good time. If you want, this is a good device. I'd tell you to get it if you ask me, but I'm gonna have to say, keep that in mind. So, I know some people don't. A lot of people are used to devices that already have the posts with a good, I'd say a good millimeter or two above them, above the well. That's not the case here. This is meant for a low profile device. It's obvious in the way it's built and the way it sits. Geez, it's only that tall. Now, that being said, one of the big selling points in this thing is the silver positive post, which is debatable, but the only reason that would matter, honestly, is once again, if you're looking for precision, if you're actually trying to set for a target not target voltage, but a target wattage in your builds, you would want that, especially if you're dealing with a mech mod where literally a 0.06 ohm change on that will actually cause everything to be off, all your calculations, everything, if that's what you do. So, that's the thing. It's the same with speakers. It's all electricity. It's just a matter of how it's going through. So that is a thing. Keep that in mind. But once you get past those, this is a great device to work with. This thing, I've been using it for about 3 days. And the biggest issue I had when I started building correctly, and when I actually started using trying not to make this device do what I want it to do, but doing what this device is built to do, it started doing work. It obviously started working great. Problem is, and this is not so much a problem with the way the device works or anything like that, but the seal on it is a little tighter than we're used to. It requires a little more force to actually pull the cap off, and it's hard to describe, but if you have it in your hands, you would know what I mean. So I mean, I'd say if you're advanced and you want something advanced to work with, and honestly not really that expensive for the purposes of this. I mean, in the past you would have had to pay $80 or more for something of this level of quality, whereas now I picked it up for about $50. Yeah, I've seen it for 30, I've seen it for 60, so it's got the variable range, depending on where you are, who you get it from, and all that, but it is a good device. And honestly, I've yet to see a device that that with a normal, I wouldn't call 6 wraps excessive, I wouldn't call 24 outstanding one way or the other, but you can get amazing cloud off of that. Alright guys, so I might not have something for you next week. I have a few little issues I need to take care of with my recordings set, but if I'm not, then the week after I'll be back with something interesting. I might actually use the the new Sense tank just came out. Can't remember what it's called. I think it's called the Mermaid Plus. So I'm gonna have that for sure, at least at some point within the next couple weeks. And I mean, from there, give me a heads up. What do you want me to actually use? I mean, I'm not sure, what device people are actually looking at. People are confused on. People are not, not sure one way or the other. And I mean, I believe I'm probably one of the best sources of information you can get. I mean, I'm your average guy. I don't have a freaking engineering degree or anything like that, but I know what works. I know what I like. I know what. And I understand the basic concepts here, so I can definitely give you an average person's insight. Someone that doesn't have the time to put a whole bunch of learning into it. So I'm Waterboy, and I'll catch you later.